headed towards NIP's way in their prior 2 series, as we called out. I will say some of the picks that were at least pulled out for Guwon, exciting to see kind of re-enter the meta, whether it's the return of the Kiana potentially, or even more Shyvana. But I think for NIP's sake, it's time to return to some good old comfort and things that worked for them in the past in what was the formula of being able to get Guwon ahead of the game, but dropping the Lucian priority over to top esports in favor of Nocturne. I have to wonder what NIP are going to be able to pick for Assum and Zhuo now.
I think the Lucian priority is just something that really speaks to this series and what it's meant for Assum and NIP. I don't mind the fact that it's Nocturne locked in immediately, because as we were talking about with NIP, some of the issues they've had in recent series has been games getting blown up early by the opponents. Some of that has come at the hands of Nocturne, who has a lot of options in terms of what camps he can start and what side of the map he's able to start camps on if the enemy jungler is not able to contest. So I think there are some real choices there for NIP, but curious to see a blind, or I guess not blind because Annie's showing, but a Cassio into Annie coming in here, Raafaa. So definitely looking to match a lot of the might of Annie's strength early. Cassio can fight early, and then the items that you build, you get big enough where you can't really get blown up by Annie, but still are range gated. So curious what else top esports can take to kind of keep that Cassio at bay.
That Melio value, though, just went up significantly more with the Gnar and the Cassiopeia locked in, since both of their ultimates, hard CC, Breath of Life is going to be quite clutch if Fengyue can use it at the critical times. I will say Cassiopeia might even look much more stronger and dominant ever since the Deathfire touch changes came into this patch in particular. So we'll see how well Care can use that. But as we head into the second round of picks and bans, I like that at the very least Ninjas in Pyjamas said, we know that there's a strong chance that they could have locked in Vayne on 3, but they really wanted to maintain the Melio pickup. So the gambit was thrown down. They are able to at least ban the Vayne, protect the Gnar a little bit, whereas top esports are now just trying to prevent Zhuo from having some of his support comfort picks now that the Lucian Melio is gone.
Yeah, 2 best matchups in the Melio really taken away. And I think that you're forced to take the Melio, because if you do go for the Vayne, you can ban out Melio Nami here to take away the best pairings with Lucian. Then you'd be relegated to a Braum, which you don't exactly want. So I think the draft has made sense so far, what's played out. Would not be surprised if we actually just see Mbessa taken here by Julian. But they might save that top lane pick for later, as they do have the option to grab something like Pantheon now. But maybe going to take the Mbessa. I mean, I expect this to be top, not exactly flexible anymore.
Yeah, with the recent changes to Mbessa's ulti now being a lot easier to dodge, I really want there to be more setup. Annie obviously is a great way to get that guaranteed, but I always kind of look at things like Vi or even Xin Zhao to have that guaranteed point and click knockup, so that the public execution cannot be dodged in terms of that chain sequence. But top esports wanting to give Tien a little bit more firepower early on, and understanding that a Lee Sin can actually go toe-to-toe with Nocturne in the early game. And guys, it's Tien. This is the second only player in World's history to get a skin for Lee Sin, third being Owner, and the first being Bengi, of course. I'm so excited, Matt. We get to see a Tien Lee Sin.
It's the first time all split too, but this is the pairing that's been best with Annie of late. I still think that for top esports, maybe lacking a little bit in the crowd control front. I really think it's important for them to, I expect to see an electrocute Mbessa top into the Gnar. We'll see if Zoyan can actually win that matchup, as I've seen him do it before. I'm expecting a little bit more of an aggressive Mbessa build, but want to see if they can survive the early onslaught that Nocturne's going to throw out. Because for me, if Nocturne's able to turn around a couple of these lanes, I really like the early to mid game for NIP. I think that top esports are going to need some time to get this Mbessa and Lucian online. Annie Lee Sin is kind of a mid-jungle duo that can bridge you there, but want to see if they're able to execute it, because Cassio ganking her can be a little bit difficult at times as Lee Sin if you get stuck in the ground. Or also just the fact she builds health against the Annie and the Lee Sin. Going to help play defense against the expected game plan of playing around mid when you do have this mid-jungle duo locked in the Annie and Lee Sin.
There's two effective timers for trying to shut down this Cassiopeia when you are playing like Lisa and Annie. Either you want to get summoners burned or even an overall kill pre-6 so that Petrifying Gaze is not something you have to deal with, and it's just so easy because Annie's going to have that point-and-click stun guaranteed, and your base kit from Lee Sin is super strong at level 3, and the other just being post-level 6 when you have access to all ultimates. But we're going to see how the story unfolds as both NIP and Top Esports take to Summoner's Rift for Game 1.
A few more fans there for Top Esports in the crowd is
just a few.
Yeah, even though it is NIP's home stadium, do have NIP. Guwon going to try and start enemy Raptors here, but this is all spotted. And TN just kind of lying in wait as we are slowing down the jungle clears here, Raafaa.
And I like that TN has yet to level his first ability because, okay, he's going to go for Tempest Crippling Strike. Decent AoE damage onto Guwon, while Guwon is just trying to bully Tien early on.
I don't really know what the thought process is here for Tien. I don't know if the Raptors matter this much or if with time.
He's waiting for Prio from mid lane,
yeah,
I think is what's happening.
But even against Cassio, it's kind of tough to fight that early because if the Qs are connecting, you see Cassio's pushed Annie under.
Meanwhile, JiaQi and Fengyue hit level 2 first. Zhuo is forced to flash. And he already popped the Summoner Heal just off of the level 1 skirmishing that these duos were having at the beginning of the game.
We've gone a minute without any camps being taken here, Rob.
This is crazy.
This is a little wild.
If this was a standard game, Matt, we would already be on our third camps.
Oh,
but Guwon and
Tien won.
Guwon being able to get a massive heal, but...
Yeah. I think Tien took away enough little creeps, though, where it's okay. Zhuo went back. Doesn't have 2.
Awesome getting dove. Zhuo tried to return back to lane on time, but it's not enough. Fengyue is going to be able to pick up first blood, but now Zhuo, can he run down JiaQi Love? There's still a flash on this Lucian, and he knows that Zhuo doesn't have his after the previous encounter. So Top Esports' AD carry walks away clean.
Oh, well, jungle was ships in the nights, and then Guwon managed to take away the Raptors after a 90-second investment. His bot lane is already down to the Lucian that was denied by Top Esports early on. So using the duo that's given NIP a lot of success for, I'd say a lot more success than I've seen it used. The fact that Guwon was spotted, a lot of confidence for the opponents to go for this, but oh boy.
We are level 2 and fighting for Crab. What a wild time to be alive.
He's got it. He's going to try and save the smite, which just came up off cooldown. So that will not even give him 3. Oh,
Matt,
boy.
I don't think I've seen this chaotic of a jungle start since my solo queue games earlier this morning. I
have not seen a start like this where... And we are just incredibly delayed. I think Tien's going to get some of the bad news that the Raptors are gone, but he's going to try and sneak in and take a red buff, so he might actually have some vertical jungling.
He's at his best chance at being a Lee Sin on the map. Flash from Care to be able to answer against the flash setup from Creme. Not sure if Tien was really in position to try and look for that, but Creme was willing to force it, and Care had to believe him just in case Lee Sin was waiting.
That looked desync. And of course, with junglers being this far behind, I mean, Tien has the smite execute. But Awesome just trying to toy around with Tien a little bit, stall him out. I expect Tien to get this.
Bubble connects on the Tien. He still has his flash. He has a ward for a safeguard. He's going to be able to get the smite down, and Fengyue gives him the escape path out.
Well, that happened, though, mid.
Yeah,
Creme
Guwon showed up mid.
Yeah.
Well, at least he can get red buff. Actually, I don't know if he has enough time. TP is coming in from
He's got time. He's got smite. He's got smite. We're Nocturne. It's okay. He should be able to get this one. Tien's going to come, and honestly, he might try and defend his Raptors. Oh, never mind. Tien's going to get... He's got no smite, so he... Yeah, it's Guwon getting that one.
But look,
and the fight.
Creme is going to collapse first. This is why this is a little iffy from Guwon, because Care was not ready to back him up on this play.
Okay.
Guwon's going to get punished. Yes, he smites the red buff, but who's going to die at the end of the day? It should be this Guwon Nocturne, but Tien has to give respect over to the Fear to make sure that he doesn't end up botching the play. He's able to safeguard and shield from the Duskbringer's path. Spell Shield blocks the Sonic Wave, but walk up, down smash for the auto attack, and Tien finally has a lead over Guwon.
All right. Well, getting the red was a thing. Getting out was not. as Guwon is going to be very delayed on his way to level 6. Tien will get the respawn Raptors on his side, which is quite nice. As looks like 400th game for Care in the LPL. Congrats to him, as this has been, honestly, I'd say a decent showing on his new team and NIP. Yeah. It's definitely been a positive split, I think, for Care.
I think one of the nice things about this NIP roster in terms of storytelling has been when this roster was first put together back in Split 1 to kick off the season, a lot of us on the broadcast, a lot of people in the community were not very sold by the roster, but they've proven us a lot wrong many times on the broadcast. Their group perseverance run into playoffs and getting into group Ascend for Split 2 was very impressive. And even this run in Ascend, where they are not even at the bottom of the standings, they are solidly in the 5th, 4th position for group Ascend. Now, Care might be in a world of trouble since he has no flash. Tien goes in. Creme drops the bear. A little bit extra damage, but the Petra Gaze catches Tien right under the tower. And Care turns it around in the 1v2.
Oh, Mark, that wasn't one of the 2 tires you were hoping for. You mentioned before 6, or after all ults are available. He goes when Cassio had ult. Tien did not, and Tien got stuck under the tower. Is the ground connected? And that's a big one for Care, because again, we set up this mid-jungle duo as Annie Lee Sin being the bridge to get the rest of the comp into the late game. Get ready. The Cassio, again, this pick into the Annie, you get big enough with your early items where it's kind of hard to be one-shot. And we saw at that point, Care had enough tankiness between the bone plating, the green tree, and the single ruby crystal he had so far to help the tower able to survive, and takes the first step towards possibly flipping that matchup on its head for NIP.
Yeah. It's a very weird game state when both of your mid laners are level 6 and your jungler is still in level 4. But that is the world that top esports kind of found themselves in. Awesome.
Yeah.
Able to escape danger there.
Definitely. I mean, I think there was a real choice between Guwon and Tien with that standoff. Like, some of the consequences of it. Really late. 6 for Nocturne, but he's here in time.
Able to hit level 6, and JiaQi immediately flashes away from the paranoia, knowing that Tien, not level 6 yet, so cannot fight back. He's here for counter tank pressure, but there's no Dragon's Rage just yet, unless he can find a Sonic Wave onto a target. Goes wide. Top esports bot lane should be able to walk out just fine.
Not sure if Dragon can be started afterwards as a consequence, as gonna lose our flash top. Hoya had access to Mega. I think there's a world there where if Hoya W flashes, maybe moves the wall up, could have chained Ambessa off for the one shot. Maybe. Not sure if he had that damage threshold, but either way. Summoner spell burned. Hoya did not burn his own. We'll see if that can be revisited, as we have Grubs on the map, and it still is jungler is pretty far behind here, Raafaa. Tien's about to ding 6, but not exactly sure what the options are going to be here, because I think for Tien, it's going to get one and try and get out. Yep, walls are closing in.
Tien is playing around with this one a lot more since Fengyue is here first over Zhuo's Nami. But Tien is finally forced to give space. A smite was used. Does he want to go back in? Tien is thinking about it, but NIP secure 2 grubs for themselves.
Yeah, Zhuo here for some emergency heals and help from the bot lane, and will be a slight win for NIP. There's no dragon taken. I gotta say, I know we kind of set up this overall, you know, how the game's going to look, Raafaa. We'll definitely set it off as we liked NIP's kind of early to mid game. With, I think the Ambessa and the Lucian can really take over in the scaling later on. JiaQi love's set up really nicely at the moment to try and do that into awesome. But
yeah,
the rest of the map, it really is going to be, I feel like this Cassio is going to be a problem. Just because with Lee Sin being set behind, at first gank attempt not going over the way of top esports, and Care starting to get these scaling items in, we might be at a point pretty early in this game where you need to send more than just 2 to get the Cassio.
Yeah, when it comes to a front to back, I definitely favor NIP's setup just because Hoya, assuming he isn't already in mega form, can stand in front. Guwon with the paranoia is going to make battle lines a lot harder to coordinate for top esports. And once again, we're in a scenario where we're looking at a draft, and your only real hard engage that's kind of reliable is Creme flash ulting with Tibbers or W to get the stun off. And
yeah, history says that's also not very reliable. Given from Creme, so we'll see if Creme can throw that one around for himself.
He's been better. He's been
It
better.
has.
It's not split 3 Annie, you know.
Creme has been better. Yes, it's been nice for me to see this player who I really feel like needed to go from being one of the rookies on the roster to one of the voices that can lead the young players in Fengyue and Zhuo up in the top side. Creme has been more consistent. I think that he's benefited from TN being in the team. But the last couple of weeks for Top Esports, I've seen more of the old version of Creme that I'm usually not too happy to see. And we'll see if we can, you know, kind of put that Creme away.
Creme trying to get some priority in the mid lane, just dropping the bear on top of Kair's face. However, NIP have push in both mid and bot still, and with TN pathing towards the top side of the map, should finally be the first dragon of the game taken off Summoner's Rift. Now, as you pointed out, things are a little volatile for top lane and for Hoya. Flash is available for this Gnar, so he's just going to take his base, understanding that he is currently the play, especially with how low his health bar is at the moment.
First dragon for NIP. I think that's delayed, as I know both junglers' games have been quite delayed at this point. So, dragon delay, I'd say small win for Top Esports, but just given the draft, I would somewhat expect the first dragon to go that way. Unless mid was broken, which Guwon's been doing quite well. So, Kair's been doing quite well. Guwon's been doing a nice job to get back into this one, but he's going to see that his blue buff was taken. He's going to see Elise Sin lying in wait over the wall.
A small price to pay for any dragon take. It's the opposite side of the map and the buff being stolen away. Calling from JiaQi Love decent damage into Assum and forced Zhuo to open up with the tidal wave just to break open the trade pattern there. JiaQi Love still, actually, his flash just returned. So there's no chance for NIP to easily get a follow-up return on that window.
If Tien gets here first, it's Essence Reaver for JiaQi Love, so item advantage and Emilio strength. Yeah, very much here. So I like Tien being here because not only is he preventing Guwon from coming in and threatening a winning 3v3, but this is a point of the game where JiaQi Love does have strength over Assum and Zhuo. So able to at least try and set up, drive that one home. Guwon seeing that is going to base, will pick up his first item, the experimental Hexplate, and actually looking like he's going to make his way towards that top side. Zhuo's flash is about to come off cooldown. I'm wondering if they're going to try and punish this before it's back. Ooh.
Hoya doesn't get the most inspiring amount of damage onto him.
He missed both Qs and the W, and didn't get the wall stun. That was a losing trade after he cast it all. It's not exactly what we're looking for in the top side.
Looking like your Gnar up there, Cubby. I'm not gonna lie. And now Hoya's really feeling the business end of that one. Zhuo level 11, which means he has 2 points in that public execution and that extra bit of Omnivamp. But like we said, folks, on 26.9, the cast time for public execution was increased significantly, and it's enough that Hoya is just able to hop out of it.
A significant 0.15 seconds. That help him make sure the Gnar can get out of there. Rotation's coming in.
You can't see him from that range?
That's not if you hug the wall, but Zhuo might get spotted here. As long as you hug the wall, you're safe from the brushes. Lane. So, won't be the dive coming in, but will be Top Esports at least trying for the swap, which NIP correctly guessed. So, quests are about to wrap up. Of course, one of the changes made on 0.9 was your depreciation of quest value. If you're not in your main lane, actually not quite as bad. So I do like the fact we've seen more teams find these swaps, because I think if you can be proactive about it, whether you have quests or done you can create a few waves where it's a winning play for your team and get out of some bad matchups, where in this case, your Top Esports, utilize the fact that your Lucian Emilio's in a good spot and try and move them around the map proactively to get a win. But NIP able to match.
Yep. Awesome, at least with the Trinity Force online and stacking up that tier, which will eventually be a Muramana. This one item spike for Top Esports, very, very strong between Tien and JiaQi Love on the Lucian as well. Once Creme has his Malignance online as well, I want to see Top Esports be a lot more proactive with their setup, because the game doesn't necessarily get easier for them the later the game goes on, outside of Zhuo. Hoya! Good flash. Gets out of the public execution.
He hopped. I do think that public execution connects. He's hunted by Tien, who is still looking for the mini Gnar.
Well, he's level 12, and he's got Guwon in his back pocket. Here he comes with the paranoia. Tien tries to disengage with a safeguard and a flash.
Multiple
Teleports are
TPs.
coming in now. Creme has the flank on the left side. Guwon is forced to flash over the wall. Zhuo follows over and is able to slice him where he stands. But Care has a flank angle of his own. He finds Fengyue and he gets the petrifying gaze onto Tien. He sails on in, only to die mid-air. Now Creme and Zhuo have to run. He flashes over the wall, but Assum is there, waiting over the Dragon Pit wall. And now this Creme has got nowhere else to go. Stunned up by the bubble. Ninjas in Pyjamas with a massive win on the bot side of the map.
That angle from Kara's TP for me ended up being the big difference maker because that early trade went in favor of Hoya and Guwon. And yes, Guwon was the first to fall, but where Kara approached the fight, given the health bars where they were at, that was a fight where NIP was stronger once Kara entered. Kara shut down the fight and forced them the wrong way. As we do have, I mean, a quick response coming out from Guwon. As the Sonic Wave doesn't connect, Hoya in the Mini-Gnar hits a pretty fat trade. Yes, the flash is forced out, but look at the health bar. So much better here for NIP. A lot gets used to find Guwon, but that's pretty expensive. Hoya does a very nice job buying time, and honestly, Zhuo, kind of the MVP of this fight. Great tidal wave, great bubble, as Tien kind of took the Sonic Wave, forced in, trying to get out of that one, but still found the ground, the petrifying gaze, and then Corki cleans up on the back half. That was a bit of an overcommit from Top Esports and Tien.
And the biggest thing I want to stress there, Matt, it wasn't around their strongest member on Summoner's Rift, which was JiaQi Love's Lucian. Having that fight significantly away from him, I feel like played a little against what Top Esports would have loved to do. Obviously, they felt like they had the upper hand of being able to force that play, but Ninjas in Pyjamas with a great, fast response gives himself a solid 1.6k gold lead, and now 2 dragons at 17 minutes.
I mean, maybe they didn't think Guwon was in the area. I think if I went back to go check that play out, you could maybe check some of the vision, see if Nocturne was fogged or not, because I could see them rolling the dice on, hey, if Nocturne's not here, we can win this one to the end. But not the case, and I do want to credit Care a lot. I thought TP was great. Saw Zhuo have a really strong fight on the Nami. And that was a Top Esports opted in for a play on the enemy side of the map, got punished pretty heavily, and gonna try and get some of that gold back with Rift Herald being dropped mid here, but
it's still first brick being awarded over to Ninjas in Pyjamas since Care already had the first move on being able to siege that structure on the bottom side. Tien just opens up with the Sonic Wave. I don't think there's any real world where he tries to send it on in under the tower there. I want to go back to you bringing up Care though, Matt, because he is the richest man on campus right now.
That's a big Cassio, as 4 stacks of Roa. Does look like he went for the double scaling build this game, which I think is okay into Annie, just because you're really trying to absorb that big boom boom damage. Even if I think a lot of games, the double scaling on Cassio takes a little bit too long. I like the pickup here. And with how big Creme is, I mean, we're really at that point where as the Cassio, you can kind of hit critical mass. It's a big entrance into the fight from the Annie Lee Sin. I think Ambessa might even be required or needed to help out against this Cassio.
Fight on the top side. Guwon able to block this public execution damage with the spell shield, but I think he's still gonna get run down by Tien. However, Guwon is sidestepping all of Tien's skill shots here. Kick into the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike allows him to guarantee a 1-for-1 trade, but now he's between 2 towers and Hoya will finish him off.
Care doesn't get a piece, but again, another play from Top Esports. It gets turned around. Good quick split there by Guwon. I think bought enough time where guaranteed that Tien and Lord of the trade, it was a one-way trip. And that's a lot of gold going over to the solo laners of NIP again, as Hoya is sitting at 3-0-1. We spent a lot of time focusing on the Gnar takeaway, or the Lucian takeaway. I didn't really talk about the Gnar takeaway. It's been one of the big picks for both Hoya and Zoyan, as I think he's really successfully figured out ways to play in the Gnar. And kind of nice to see Hoya this game getting the best of this matchup.
trying to get aggressive, but it's double barriers being used by both AD carries. Zhuo tries to part JiaQi Love with the tidal wave. Doesn't get knocked up by it, but Fengyue is critically low on health as well. So the Top Esports bot lane is forced to back off as we take a look at the replay for that top fight.
I can understand it with Mega being down, but watch this spell shield from Guwon. Really well done, gets out of the public execution. That's what enables the clicks and the dodging to come out to buy some time. Got a level, a Triumph stack as well, so Good try by Hoya to try and catch the Sonic Wave and save his jungler. I think that Guwon and NIP is going to be really happy with the result of that, which was a 2-for-1 in their favor.
Big note on that fight as well, Matt. Creme TP to the plate. Care just walked up to the side of the map. And there is nothing that Top Esports was able to get off of that TP. So now there's a significant TP advantage from this Cassiopeia. Top Esports have to be extremely careful if they want to contend for this dragon, where Creme is on the other side of the map here in the next minute and 30 seconds.
Again, that strong point is JiaQi. JiaQi is the only laner that has a lead. I really feel like if we are going to see a comeback from Top Esports, it's going to have to be off the back of this Lucian, which it is JiaQi. You never know when he can pull a rabbit out of the hat. Sincerely, in the LPL, this guy, one of the best in the business when it comes to playing that role. But we've seen JiaQi at least create openings or pressure, but we haven't seen anything break yet on the side of NIP. And I think as long as that's the case, I mean, Dragon's in 55 seconds here, Raafaa. I don't feel the point of power for Top Esports to be strong enough to really enter. And again, this is where a comp with a bit of a lack of engage or an engage problem starts to add up. Like, I think it's really tough for the Annie and Best of Lee Sin to be big enough to start off these fights, whereas it's so easy to pull the trigger with Nocturne, Gnar, Nami. I mean, turn off the lights and create some angles or create a wave in the night that could be big. We've seen that work out.
And I think that's the biggest problem for Top Esports.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about limited engage tools for this team, usually you can break that by having really good vision control. Because you can set up flanks, you can try and look for pincer formations and try and attack NIP from different angles. How can you do that when the lights are turned out by Paranoia? Then your coordination kind of goes down the drain at that point. So Top Esports really have to rely on kind of strong manning this wave push in the mid lane to be able to get first access into the river. Care has TP. Zhuo also has TP, so he's able to match it. Both solo laners now taking their bases to get ready for this dragon.
Kind of surprised that NIP is not hard committing for this play. Assum is still on that mid wave.
2000 HP, Guwon uses the Paranoia. TN is able to secure Ocean Dragon, but Guwon assassinates Creme. And what a flash ulti from Hoya. Doesn't get the Mega Gnar stun into the wall. Petrifying Gaze will clip many though. Care has been just immaculate on this Cassiopeia. And he slithers all over Top Esports, wiping every last one of them. It's an ace for an NIP at 22 minutes.
That's going to lead to Baron, as it's a clean ace at that. And I mean, Hoya's ult, it didn't catch people on the wall, but boy, did that split up the fight and allow for NIP to really capitalize off of what was already a big start to the fight, which was made by Hoya. He's got the TP shield. Creme throws that stun into Gnar, gives away any and all of his power as Hoya and Mini Gnar just starts to hunt him. Easy kill for Guwon over the top, and then Hoya, this ult. I mean, yeah, just keep him on that side of the map, man. That's our side. We're already fighting at a 5-for-4. I think the save coming in from Zoyan's a decent attempt, but man, what an entrance Care has into this fight. And it was really made off the back of Hoya, who had an awesome start. I mean, completely forced Creme out, forced Creme away, and forced Top Esports to fight on NIP's terms, of which NIP dominated. So, free Baron for them, 8.5k gold lead, and sure looks like game one's going to the side of NIP.
Cannot state enough how awesome it is to see a glow-up, standout performance from Care here in the mid lane. As we alluded to before in Split 1, this roster, that when we first saw it put together, was taking a bunch of individuals that had very less than impressive to almost disappointing overall 2025 seasons. It made NIP's roster look like a misfit of toys, or an island of misfit toys, but Care has been having one of his better splits of his overall career. The last time I've seen this much confidence from him was probably one of his very first few splits with FPX alongside Milky Way in that 2022 spring roster. Or 2024, I should say, when they made a very, very distinct run in the spring regular season.
Mid-inner falls, and again, I think the options for Top Esports back in pretty non-existent. This is the lower engaged team, and NIP, I mean, this is a Cassio just at critical mass with how big Care is, Raafaa, and Definitely seems like, I mean, a roster that is playing with confidence. And this is, I would say, again, kind of points towards some of the issues we saw from NIP in their last 2 series, or the last 4 games, as they got 2-0'd in both of those series. There were some issues with early pathing, which there was some weird early pathing in this game, too. But at least it wasn't Guwon being completely set outside of the barometers of the game, or, you know, pretty much losing his team the game within the first 5 levels. It was also a much better and more cohesive draft. We're not looking at this like, okay, how does this top side play with this bot side? Or there is a lack of engage from this team where Annie's trying to bring it all together, which is a draft we were critical of in the pre-show for NIP, and kind of one we're seeing here for Top Esports. So I do feel like NIP, like some of the issues we saw in their last 2 series, there were mistakes being made so early, or mistakes in draft where it's like, okay, this is relatively fixable. And we're getting back to seeing the NIP that is a team in Group Ascension that we really feel like can challenge these top teams. I mean, they won more games off BLG in their 2 best ofs this year than BLG got off them. So I think it really goes to show that NIP, again, a team that can compete.
When they're at their best here, NIP are easily one of the most exciting teams to watch here for LPL in this second split of the 2026 season.
TN. Okay.
Well, that Sonic Wave will reveal the Lee Sin's location there. Top Esports, we're trying to wait to see if NIP were going to make a mistake in that push on the top side of the map. Baron buff has expired, so Top Esports do not have to deal with Baron empowered minions anymore up until the next Baron spawn at 2 minutes and 45 seconds from now. Ocean Dragon is spawning, and at the very least, Top Esports have delayed critical mass from an Ocean Soul for NIP for effectively another 5 minutes, but I do not see a world where they are going to be contesting them on this next dragon.
All that real estate being taken away, and I see Fengyue on the top side of the map. Not exactly where you want your support to be if you're thinking about contesting the upcoming dragon, which, I mean, Ocean Soul point at that. Could be dragons that are more valuable for NIP, but again, I think the lack of engage, if you have an Ocean Soul, you're playing into that, can definitely help make sure that whatever fight you have is definitely going to be taken on your conditions, as no fight to be had this time around. Creme going to use this free time to get a few waves in on top side, and I gotta say, Raafaa, I'm kind of surprised about Creme's build this game, too. I don't think the one-shot Annie, I think this is the Leandri's game for me against the Gnar Cassio, which is how much health we're going to get. One-shot Annie is a little, I think, not as much value as it could be.
I definitely agree with you. I think the reason why this build happened is because when the game was still kind of winnable for Top Esports, he was short on gold, he was behind the pace, and he just needed to complete a second item. And I think it's not enough for me to like Rocket Belt as a immediate second rush over many other items that Chovy has seemed to popularize for the rest of the world. But Rocket Belt is 2,650 gold. It is very, very cheap. And almost every other significant mage item that you can get is like at least 3k. So I get it. It's a cheap spike, but I'm also with you that unfortunately the ship has kind of sailed for Top Esports and being able to make strong itemization choices, and they are just kind of hoping that NIP are going to mess something up.
In the case, no mistakes to be found so far from NIP, as they took that free dragon for themselves. Going to take a reset in the mix and try and set up for an easy Baron once it spawns again here in 30 seconds. And again, Top Esports, any way to break it? I appreciate that we saw Fengyue, as they did drop that last dragon, try and put down some wards to create some angles. So we're going to see, there's an angle.
Run into Assum, but Corky is able to make it out alive with a flash and a barrier. Culling opens up, doesn't get much damage. Guwon for the re-engage, and a beautiful animation cancel from Hoya. Slams 2 into the wall. JiaQi goes back in, forces the flash out of Guwon. JiaQi tries to step up, but he cannot step past Hoya on the Gnar. And Zhuo is completely forced out of the fight as Care flashes in and sinks his twin fangs into the Unbesta's back. Ninjas in Pyjamas with an absolute demolishing Game 1 opener to our series of tonight.
Top Esports, not enough engage, I think, from this composition. And when NIP got ahead, they were able to find the engages on their terms. And man, I really feel like, even though Care has the flashy scoreline, this has to be a Hoya Pog, Raafaa. With all the big moments and entrances into these fights that we had, Hoya was making these fights unlosable for NIP with what he was finding either at the start of fights, forcing Creme out, or at the end of fights as he ended this game with a really nice Mega Gnar into the E. As, man, any hopes to top esports out of that game one kind of went out the wayside pretty quickly. I know that going back to the jungle start we had, it felt like TN was more punished from being behind there than Guwon. As we saw TN not be able to find that level 4 gank mid when it was level 6. We saw the next play he went for was turned around by Nocturne, who was behind, but with Paranoia could still get in range. And TN first Lee Sin we've seen from him so far this split. Not the TN Lee Sin I'm used to seeing of old, which is usually he gets that champion and can solo win the game. I've seen better Lee Sins from Krakow so far in Group Nirvana this split. So I hope TN, I hope to see more Lee Sin from him. I know historically he's a great Lee Sin. That wasn't exactly the game for it. And the mid-jungle duo there of top esports faltering against NIP, as it was a big game for Care, and Guwon made it work.
Obviously, this might seem 2020 in hindsight and kind of redactive storytelling for looking at how that jungle start kind of came to be, but this is what I will say. Level 1, even though Lee Sin can fight Nocturne, your level 1 ability, no matter if it's Sonic Wave Resonating Strike or Tempest Crippling Strike, it doesn't beat Nocturne Q, unfortunately. Because Nocturne Q, you get, what is it, 20 bonus AD.
You get a lot of AD. Yeah, you get a lot of AD.
20 bonus AD level 1. You just, it is so hard for you to fight that as Lee Sin. And if you have this Lucian Melio bot lane that is already winning the push, I think it was a lot easier for TN to drop ego on those Raptors and just play to invade bot side after starting on one of your camps on the bot side.
So start your wolves with E and then just get down there as fast as you can. Yeah. And if you lose a camp to Nocturne, you lose a camp to Nocturne. That's a world we've seen a lot of games. Like, your Raptors just go to Nocturne with the draft. Sometimes that just happens. But that kind of an awkward start and opener, and one that, again, I feel like the ramifications of that. And what, jungle was delayed by like 90 seconds. We saw Crab taken at level 2 and not even give over a level 3 to kind of put in perspective how delayed jungle was. Again, I feel like we saw TN punish more for that than Guwon.
It is funny because I will say that normally, if you are in a game where both junglers are delayed on their level 6, that should usually favor the champion that does not rely on level 6 nearly as much as you do, which I can understand in TN's case, especially after punishing Guwon invading for the red buff when he had no prio in either of his lanes. That should have been enough of a point for TN to actually just kind of close the door on Guwon and maintain that lead. But it's the botched 2v1 play into Care mid lane where TN decides to drop some of his tempo to make that play happen, and because you're just not strong enough and you are way too squishy 2 levels down to Cassiopeia at that point in the game, that really,
I mean, might have been doable, but not if you get ground under the turret. So that's that was definitely a mistake there from TN. As again, I mean, Hoya, man, I really feel like this has to be a Hoya Pog. I know some of that damage comes from the lane phase, of course, ranged into melee, but boy, did we say Hoya, especially in the tape, have some impactful moments entering these fights. And I'm usually one to not be the one to point towards a Hoya Pog. He's someone that, for me, I mean, very much is a role player within this team. I think that many of the times he does his role well. I do appreciate the creativity they've had with him playing the Varus, playing the Anivia, playing his Gragas, which is yet to be beat this split and has been quite good in the games that he has been able to pull it out. But to have a Hoya Pog, this is a really nice game for him, because we're not exactly talking about him as the pop-off player on this roster. But if you are able to get a pop-off game from Hoya, well, that was a pretty clean win overall from NIP.
It's going to be a toss-up between Hoya and Care, I think, from the LPL official broadcast, because Care was quite massive on this Cassiopeia, and the main reason why not only the mid lane snowball doesn't happen in Creme's favor, but also a significant portion of this big bottom fight collapse that worked out so well for NIP, being able to punish on the overextension.
Yeah.
And I mean, this was really well played from NIP on all fronts. So,
yeah, Zhuo, great fight. Hoya, another big fight. But that TP angle, as you said, going into the replay, Raafaa, I felt like that was the big difference from Care. But man, again, going through the replay, Hoya's involved in everything. And to, again, see Hoya have that game where we talked about Lucian Milio being a big takeaway from Assum and Zhuo. The star is a bit of a takeaway from Zuyan, as well as it being one of the better picks for Hoya. And man, I mean, I really feel like he had a strong game from start to finish. As a player that I usually point towards when it comes to teams playing against NIP, I feel like top lane is usually the lane that you can look to get an advantage in when going up against this team, because they will play to make sure that you can get advantages into Hoya. That is the style this team embraces. But this was a game where Hoya blinded the Gnar. I've seen Zoyan have really good success playing this electrocute, kind of damage-heavy Ambessa into Gnar. But not this game. Hoya was able to get through the lane phase all right, with jungle not able to get as involved with how delayed it was. Maybe that was a world that really benefited Hoya in the matchup.
Yeah. When we look back at that R5 for top esports, and it was the overall jungle pick, once again, it might seem like redactive kind of reasoning and analysis, but by taking the Lee Sin, you are taking a bigger risk. I'm always down to see our best junglers in the LPL take that risk upon themselves because they have the hands to do it. But it did put them in a scenario uncomfortably where once they fell behind, you don't have the reliability of a Vi point-and-click engage. You do not have the reliability of a Xin Zhao being able to 3 talent strike prep into dash and guarantee a knockup, so that these public executions are not just relying on raw dogging it or being able to find it off of an anti-stun as well, right? So 26.9 cast time nerfs, very significant, and it will cost top esports the first game of the series. I want to remind everyone, we didn't actually get a chance to touch on this, so it's not a reminder, it's a more of a public service announcement. Ninjas in Pyjamas still have a chance to make it to top 4 and get that bye, or at least the top side of the bracket, and being able to choose their opponent for playoffs.
Pretty unlikely.
It's very hard,
but
it's very hard to do. But
not out of the question.
it is dashed away as soon as they take 1 game loss against top esports.
Damn it. It went to Care.
But, I mean, you can't be too upset about that.
No, I'm actually pretty upset. That like last set of replays, every single replay I'm watching, Hoya is pissing on everything, and they give it to the damage vote. He didn't even do that much damage. He did 19% of the damage in the game.
Oh,
I'm watching Hoya just absolutely crap on this game, and they give it to the KDA vote in mid. I'm a little mad about that. I went to bat for Hoya for nothing now. It's just gonna be lost to history. Ref and observer.
Well,
thank you. Thank you.
One
Right
ref
side of history.
And one observer.
Right side of history.
On,
We call that
Yeah,
the Losers Club, not voting for Hoya. Come on.
Oh my goodness. That is one way to put it, of course. Well, that is game 1 wrapped up in the